welcome to a very wonderful episode of Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. I am Blessing Dagin. Well, today is going to be a very, very interesting show because... Hold on. Well, let me reveal the people we have in the studio. First of all, we have the amazing Omokafe. Hi, Omokafe.
Hi. Hello, Blessing. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you, my dear.
All right. And next we have Sharon in the building.
Hi, Blessing.
Hi, Sharon.
I believe you're great today.
I am. Hope you are too.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Now to the moment you all have been waiting for. We have in the building Asiat Jimoh, popularly known as Bami the Resource. Can you beat that?
Ooh. Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get the show started. So, a while back, the Chinese celebrated their 80th anniversary of the freedom they have against the war the Japanese waged on them, and how they were able to succeed using a very, very historical and amazing movie called Dead to Rights. Now we have a very nice report ready on that, and let's take a look at it, and then our conversation continues. 80 years after the end of one of the darkest chapters in history, Abuja became the stage for remembrance. The Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Nigeria hosted a special movie screening to mark the 80th anniversary of China's victory in the war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the global fight against fascism. The day was not only a remembrance of history, but also a reflection on resilience, solidarity, and the enduring call for peace. The ambassador's remarks set the tone for the day, emphasizing the importance of preserving historical memory and fostering stronger bonds between China, Nigeria, and the international community.
In 1931, driven by militarism, Japan launched the brutal war of aggression against China. Then, on December 13th, 1937, after capturing the city of Nanjing, Japanese invaders carried out a horrific massacre that lasted 6 weeks. More than 300,000 Chinese civilians and soldiers were killed, a tragedy now known as the Nanjing Massacre.
The film Dead to Rights was deeply emotional. Through vivid storytelling and powerful performances, it depicted not just the devastation of conflict, but also the unyielding spirit of ordinary people who stood firm in extraordinary times. As the credits rolled, conversations among guests reflected gratitude, sober reflection, and a renewed commitment to peace. The event closed as both a commemoration of history and a bridge of cultural exchange, reinforcing the friendship between China and Nigeria. The day's message was clear. The lessons of history must never be forgotten, for it is in remembering the past that humanity safeguards. Okay. I definitely see this as a preservation of history, because tell me what else could have told this story better than a film, a movie. Well, you guys were not there. Oh, Omokafe was there. If you had seen the movie Dead to Rights, you would probably relate better. But then what do you think? What do you think about China celebrating their 80th victory or freedom, and then, using such a powerful movie to portray that? Bami?
I think that, like you said, it is apt. What better way could you preserve? And I don't know if I can also link this to Nigeria.
Sure.
I think one thing that I've been curious about is how we can preserve some things. Say, for instance, many people are in the business of, say, Adire making. But aside Abeokuta, that is like the ancestral source of this particular print, I doubt if many Gen Zs can produce it. So what happens when the generation of those people who can produce it goes, we just lose it. And I think that also, and bringing that to history, an idea popped up in my head while preparing for this. And I'm like, oh, what happens when the current generation of oldest kings in Africa, when they die, what happens? So we only have to make do with perspectives of maybe naysayers or bloggers, what happened to the idea of actually documenting their stories? Because when they go, it is gone. This is not something that you can even have access to. This is like priceless data that is not timeless, because if they go with it, it is gone. So documenting this, honestly, I don't think anything beats that. I think film does a lot of justice to keeping the stories.
Does the magic. Omokafe.
Of course, I totally like the perspective of Ayo Bami, the resource person, right here, because when it comes to culture, the only reason why it can be sustained is via preservation and also via oral passing. But these days we have grown beyond, oral passing. We now have TV, we have videos, we have audios, and stories can be passed on. Stories of history and culture can be passed on not just by words of mouth, but it can also be documented in ways that future generations to come can go to watch it. And that's exactly what the Chinese people have been able to do with this. Now, young persons who are Chinese descent or of Chinese descent, or people who probably like Chinese people and would like to go there, will be able to see, the struggles that these people have faced against the Japans, and also understand their pains, understand probably some of the actions that they might be doing right now, and see exactly where they are coming from. Now, I'm saying that, of course, Japan would have their own perspective, but right now, this is the Chinese perspective, and they are saying exactly how their story was. And of course, that it was passed on from, maybe their fathers, mothers told them all of these stories. But now they are deciding not just to do that alone, but also put it in a film and allow people to watch and experience and tell the stories for them too. So I like it very much.
It's been 8 years, and I think that's really a great compilation, or comments on this report. Let's hear from Sharon.
Well, of course, Bami and Omokafe have literally said, it's interesting how film is being used to preserve history. And I, for one, I enjoy it because it's, when you go to the books and read about history, yes, you might grab something, you might try to envision it, but it's more, I would not say accurate because, of course, that of the book is as accurate as that of the movie, but you can easily visualize when you are watching it. I'll take, for instance, while I was in school, there's this book called Othello. I don't know if you all, by Shakespeare, right? Now, I read the book and I understood it to a certain level, but when I was given the opportunity to watch the movie, I could tell you that I dreamt about that. And when that question came out, during the exams, I could visualize what I've seen, and then I delivered an answer. Of course, this is not, in as much as for educational purposes, we are trying to, educate the Chinese descent, even that of the Japanese, even Nigerian, literally the globe, to tell them, this is what happened 80 years ago in China. And now when you watch that movie, it sticks with you. It sticks in your head. And you can explain it to somebody like you were there. And that's because you visualized it by watching it. So this is really a good thing that they are doing. And I hope that more more countries, more cultures take up this art and try to put our history or, create our history in such a way that we can, using film as a tool to, pass the message and, of course, keep our heritage and all of that, preserve it, by the way.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Well, definitely this history, the Chinese people's history, what they went through and where they are now, I believe they have very significant connections, being that this informed maybe their way of life, it informed the decisions they made, it informed a lot of things about them, including maybe their zest to, succeed and just, become one of the leading world powers. And then it leads me to talking about, culture and then commerce.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at China today, you'd see that they are, topping.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised to, if you had seen that movie, wow, because almost the entire country was wiped out. How did they start again? How did they build from the scratch? So now leads me to my question, Bami. How can we relate our our culture to become, a very strong source of commerce or a very strong commercial resource?
Yeah, this is very soft. Yeah, I think it's not something that happens just because we wish it.
Okay.
I think these are things that we talk about and take steps towards. I cited the instance of the Adire, for instance. I really am. I was talking to my mom about it. She's like, oh no, you have to go to Abeokuta to get the original. So what happens if something happens to Abeokuta? The whole world will lose out on Adire, the original, like the art of making it, if anything happens to them. And I think I said it starts with having conversations about it and then taking actual steps. I've said it. I don't know if I plan on maybe teaching it, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have digital products on how to make Adire. It shouldn't always be limited to Abeokuta. I mean, it's nice and amazing to know that something stems from a place, but it shouldn't always be limited to there. And I think because it's something I talk to people about, when they say, oh, I don't have jobs or this, I'm like, if you just actually look, there are actually many opportunities you can create. It's more work. Having to now say, I want to go to Abeokuta to document the process, to hear from them, are there tips, are there tricks, how do I know the fake from original? It's a lot of work. But having that, it's gem. It's not something you will just browse online and randomly find. So I think it's people, I don't know if people have to be broke to get to the point, but I think maybe a nation building consciousness. Because if you want to be fine, get a job. Honestly, you're going to be fine. Maybe paying you 500, 700 in Abuja, you're going to be fine. You may even start a family. If you happen to have an online business, right, say, I think you will do well. But if you are conscious of nation building, and that means more commitment to society, 700K salary will not get you there. So there is a need to think of how to create things. If I'm thinking of how I want to, like, the road that leads to my house is bad. I'm sorry, but I want to fix it. Because I like this place, I don't want to move out. That means I can't do that on a 700K salary. That means I have to create something that can get me the income that then I will have enough to spare to fix a road. That means I have to think. That means I have to create value. That means I have to look around me. What do people need? Or what can I convert? That means culture. What's there in my culture? And I don't know if you've seen this video, this cartoon of that they used to teach languages online for kids. There's this evil one that I saw where there's somebody wearing like this tortoise thing, and then instead of the English cartoon, now you see them speaking like the Igbo. This is Igbo. So I'm like, like it sounds funny, but really that's a digital product. Exactly. That's someone commercializing their knowledge of culture, and that's also someone. Because for many people that maybe are actually not based in Nigeria, it's almost impossible for your kids to understand what these basic words in your traditional language mean. So that's someone solving someone's problem.
Exactly. I think this word here is gem. You know, this particular idea you gave of people being conscious to nation building. Honestly, I think that's one of the key things that helped China rise from all of the rubbles they found themselves in, and then, rise up to becoming a very strong world power today. But before we move on from this segment, Omokafe, give us, a few insights. What do you think about, commercializing culture?
I want to say I'll go again with Bami's perspective because it looks like she's very wise and she came very, very prepared. But of course, I definitely go with her. Because when it comes to things like this, a lot of people just wake up one day and they don't think about where they are from. They just deny it because they feel it's not cool enough. We are Gen Zs, probably Gen Alphas, and you feel like because your mother ate amala or because your father ate begiri, it's not as cool as eating spaghetti or one Chinese food or anything like that. Now, that is not demystifying their food, yes, or anything, but they have been able to grow their culture enough to call it cool, that people want to identify with eating it or wearing their clothes. What happens to your own culture too? So I want to be able to wear Ankara proudly enough to go to work on a Monday morning, and no boss somewhere will come and tell me, why are you dressed in traditional attire when you're supposed to be dressed corporately? And you see that there are a lot of young people these days who get to make this our traditional attires, everything. Just look at the way Bam is dressed. She can wear this to an office on a Monday morning and she looks corporate enough. But a lot of people might not buy this idea because they believe that our own cultural clothes is maybe second compared to others that they consider as corporate. So we actually have to come to that consciousness where we believe that our own clothes too can be worn to, go for corporate events and it will not be bad. And that in itself is also commerce because you are going to do international transactions with your cultural attires and nobody looks at you differently.
Great perspective, Omokafe. Sharon.
Well, what can I say? They've literally said it all, but I feel it's important. And why is it important? When you put a price tag on something, there is so much worth on it. Yeah, you might not fully understand that, but if you maybe make an adire and just like, how would I put it? You just don't put a price tag on it and you just let everybody come and access it and all of that. I don't think that there would be so much value to it. So I feel commercializing culture has to also deal with that. When we put a price tag on any of our cultural, either attire or whatsoever cultural thing that we have, it gives it so much value. And aside that, you talked about nation building. It helps to contribute to our nation building also. Imagine you having a culture, you have a cultural whatsoever, and it's just for your country. You just want to put it in your country and not let it out to other country. And of course, we know when letting it out to other country, that's commerce. You do not want to take it out to other country. It dies in your country. How do other nations also know that, oh, this belongs to Nigeria, or this belongs to another country and all of that? And I see that as a reasonable thing to do. It has to add to nation building. When you come, you commercialize, you buy, you do this, you make sales and everything. It has to add to the economy, and you also adds to nation building. So that's really my take.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Basically, before we move on, culture, we all know that culture is not just maybe what we wear. It's generally our way of life, the way we speak, the way we act, our gestures, the way we look, the food we eat, everything generally. So if we were to preserve it, so I think it's very important that we own our culture and then have the consciousness that we are trying to build it, we are trying to preserve it. That way, we're able to, not necessarily just commercialize, right? But then also do it in a vein that it gets sustained. Because at the end of the day, if tomorrow someone comes from outside Africa or outside Nigeria, and then they see us all speaking English, because God, we're all trying to speak English. I don't know, language is one aspect of culture I particularly am interested in. Everyone is speaking English. Everyone is trying to sound educated. Everyone is trying to sound swine. It's gonna be losing a vital part of us. So importantly, culture is key, and commercializing it or moving it into commerce is something that could help sustainability as well. Bami.
Yeah, I need to add something. So there's this particular Voice of Africa by Africans, and the mission is actually to tell Africa's story, like let Africans tell Africa's story. And I saw someone played like very recent clips of people like, oh, what comes to mind when you hear Africa? And what still comes to somebody's mind is giraffe. Like what? Like what?
Yeah, I saw that.
If we keep ordering the updates, the African updates, it's not our advantage. And I think if there's anything, I think that's why maybe TikTok is also a blessing. It's not that everybody is telling stories now. We're not hearing stories from influencers. Every person can tell stories from the corner of your room, and everybody can get a balanced perspective. So it's not like, oh, all Nigerians are broke, or all Nigerians are rich, or all Africans are dark. There's a balanced perspective thanks to social media. So I'm just saying that we need to tell our stories. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give balanced perspective. I think that's the word we'll end this segment with for today. We'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll have more details. Please stay with us.
Keep watching.
Please keep watching Culture
Cove on Hued Network.
For 2 seasons, Timeline has taken you on a journey of exploring real-life issues and solutions. Well, we are on to season 3 of Timeline, a space where we talk about real issues shaping our world. Here, we sit down with voices that matter, with people who are driving change and making impact. We are talking about more than just problems. We're talking about the attainment of our collective commitment, the global goals, the SDGs, and of course, our community-specific targets. Our conversations aren't just about highlighting problems, they're about finding solutions that truly works, solutions that touches lives and impact the globe. An appraisal of how close we are in meeting our global and community targets. We create rooms for honest, thought-provoking conversations, a ride that you wouldn't want to miss. Well, this is Timeline, where conversations lead to solutions that change lives.
Everybody has a stake in making the world a better place with love and compassion. As we thrive daily, we continue to strive to face the many challenges that faces our Earth, because together we all matter. On one side, we are exploring the captivating stories, the trends, the glamour, while on the other hand, we're looking at the love, the care and compassion from our champions. In our Stars Quiet Cove lies the burning passion for humanity, which is seldom known and unsung to the world. Join me on Famed to look at the flip side of your favorite beyond the regular.
Keep watching
Please keep watching Culture
Culture Cove on Hued Network.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this is Culture Cove and we're right here on Hued Network. Well, before we went on the break, we were talking about commercializing our culture, or maybe moving from culture to commerce. But now we're turning to Omokafe to give us details of the latest happenings within the creative industry. Hi, Cafe.
Hello, Blessing. I'm so glad always to come and talk about things happening in the entertainment industry, and of course how it relates to putting money in people's pockets, because we should be talking money.
Very important.
Well, today I'm not going outside of Nigeria. I'm going to Lagos today. There was an Adire Lagos festival sponsored by EcoBank in Lagos this year, and it's part of their strategic corporate social responsibility, where they get to do that, and they've been doing that since 2022. And this year they decided that they were of course going to do something again. These are pictures from people who attended. There were over 120 free stands to people who are very much invested in Adire. So Adire wrappers, Adire clothing, ready-made wares, lifestyle products, as long as it's something related to Adire. They had free stands there. In fact, last year it was reported that somebody made over 30 million naira from just 4 days.
Wow.
Just 4 days of being present at that place, having a store, and that was like a 6 months revenue. So
Wow.
EcoBank gets to give them, free space as Victoria Island. They go there, they air their wares, people come there from different countries, they come to see. In fact, you even have Nike, owner of Nike Art Gallery. Yeah. She's like one of the people who houses the Adire, everything, just look at her there. So she's always there, of course, giving encouragement to people who are invested in ensuring that Nigerian's culture of Adire does not go away, is sustained and everything. And the reason why EcoBank did this is not just to, have people come and sell their wares or come and show people that they can do beautiful designs or beautiful patterns on wrappers turned into Adire, but because they wanted people to be able to understand business. Understand what it means to own your business and how to account for it, and not just accounting for it, but also sustain it, learn how to grow it further, and also even export outside of the country and everything. And so whether you're young, whether you're old and you deal in that business, they ensure that there are several workshops. So it's not just you being in a store, they get to also do workshops that they bring people who are also like big in the business already, just like Nike was there, to come there to encourage you in several ways. And of course, there are foreign people always present, coming to, look at Nigeria. And just like we're talking about commercializing culture, this is an exact example of commercializing culture, because these people come from different parts of the world, and even people in Nigeria, because trust me, there's somebody out there who does not know Adire or does not even know that its headquarters is Abeokuta. that person goes to this place, learns the culture of Abeokuta people, see the things they can do from their hands, with their hands, and goes to spread that information also to other people who were not present there. And also the people who came from outside of Nigeria can go outside of Nigeria wearing that clothes and tell them the source of where they got it from. And next year we'll have somebody who will come and testify that they did not just make 30 million, probably they made double, 60 million naira just from selling Adire in 4 days of having their stores on that place. So thanks to EcoBank, of course, and to the people who decided that they were going to be bold enough to present their works right there. You can see beautiful displays of Adire materials.
Really beautiful, Kafi. And one thing I just picked from this is the fact that Africa is the new normal. I don't know what anyone else thinks, honestly. But because look at it, before we'll be struggling to, get suits. I mean, people now even make suits with Adire materials.
Yeah.
It's really, really beautiful. And I must say, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
All right, Sharon.
Well, it's such a beautiful view to behold. You are wearing an Adire on you, and it's so splendid. It's so beautiful. It's just like you said, Africa is literally the new normal. There's this trending, what they call it, with shorts or pants.
Yeah.
That they use Adire, to make. And I literally see it everywhere, not just Nigerians. I see, of course, just like you said, on TikTok, we get the reach of TikTok is wide. You see Ugandans, you see, of course, they are Africans, but even the Western world, you see them, dressing up on it, and it's so beautiful to behold, so beautiful. To even know that the headquarters is in Abeokuta. No, thumbs up. Yoruba people.
Bami has been really talking about Adires already, so I guess she has a lot to say about this.
Well, I think this is so innovative. I've worked with brands and I've also worked in development organization. So having this as a form of CSR, like, you guys, where's my brand there? It's so innovative. Because usually people just do, and not to downplay any form of CSR. Every CSR is important, but this is an innovative way. Jonah must be a creative. It was just, or the manager in charge of that project.
We are creatives.
It's so cool. It's so
PR
cool.
person.
Using this kind of platform, I can't imagine the reach. I can't imagine.
And in Lagos.
You can already imagine because look at the people wearing it already, the whites and all of that. So it's quite an interesting one. Thank you so much, Kafi.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. All right, we're going on a very short break again. When we return, now we'll look at Sharon for all of the juicy details she has concerning a certain festival. Please stay with us.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture
Cove on Hued Network.
This is the show where stories of women's achievement meets the solutions our world needs today. In a world where challenges abound, women rise above, turning obstacles to opportunities and dreams into lasting impact. They are leaders, they are innovators, they are change makers. From classrooms to boardrooms, from communities to global stages, these women are breaking barriers and shaping our world. Empower is not just a conversation. It's a celebration of courage, resilience, and vision. Join me as I spotlight women who transform society. This is Empower with an H on Youth Network.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture
Cove on Hued Network.
All right, this is still Culture Cove, and of course you have a full squad of women right here. All right, now we'll turn to Sharon to give us details. Sharon, what do you have for us?
All right, so my certain festival that we'll be talking about is the National Cherry Blossom Festival. Quite interesting, cherry blossom, and you're like trying to wonder what is that? Well, this festival is celebrated in Washington, D.C. when you hear the US, you're trying to understand how do they have festival? But of course they do, and this is one of the first festival ever to happen in Washington, D.C. And the festival commemorates the gift of Japan to US. Now, what's the gift? The gift of cherry blossom. Yeah.
Oh.
So they gave Japan about 3,020 cherry blossom trees to the US to more like a sign to. That's the image there, so beautiful. More like a sign to, strengthen their friendship, create peace for bonding and all of that. And of course, we know that the cherry blossom is native to the Japanese. So giving the US that number of the cherry blossom tree is quite remarkable. And it will shock you that they actually gave them 2,000 of this cherry blossom tree before. But it was infested and they had to burn it. And now we're not talking about recent years, we're talking about 1912. So they gave them in 1912. So the festival has been there for a very long time. Now, a lot of Japanese that are not in Japan, maybe in US and around the world, they come together to, celebrate the relationship that the Japan has with the US by gifting them this cherry blossom tree. And another interesting thing is, they gather together between March 20th to April 15th because that is the period that the cherry blossom blossoms.
Cherry blossom blossoms.
Yeah.
Right.
So they go around, and one of the events, one of the things they do there is the tree sighting. They go around, sight the tree, see the beauty of it, and all of that. And trust me, I believe the Japanese, citizens will be more in this. Not even citizens, those of the Japanese descent, they'll be more in this, this festival because it's like I said, it's native to the Japan. So they take this seriously when it comes to the festival and all of that. And another thing is they don't just only just view the trees and the blossoming and all of that. They also incorporate the Japan culture. They eat their food, they dance their, do their cultural dance. They, a lot of things that has to do with the Japan culture. It's more like just honoring the Japan culture while also honoring the friendship that they've built. And also they do fireworks. If you know the country that does more fireworks, you should know that the Chinese, the Japan, more of the Asians, they do lots of fireworks. So during that festival, they do lots of fireworks. And that's basically it about this festival. It's such an interesting festival. And I just hope that maybe one day I'll go visit to see the blossoming. If not in Japan, maybe in the US. And of course, as it stands, it seems just the US and the Japan has this beautiful tree.
Beautiful.
Really, really interesting. Cherry blossom.
Cherry blossoms.
And then they are coming to see how the cherry blossom
The
blossoms.
blossoming of the cherry blossom.
Apart from the whole rhymes we've been able to carve out of this, I think one very important significance I've picked from this is it fosters, a blend of culture and then helps. I mean, you said 1912?
Yes.
That's a long time ago, and this is 2025. My God.
My God.
My God. Bami, what do you think about this?
Honestly, I was already imagining, maybe we should give them some okra seed or something. We should.
But it has to be native to us so that they'll know that.
Actually, I think is, and again, brings us back to the beauty of culture. It's cultural to exchange these things. Like, I'm going to this place. I'm giving them a part of us.
Yeah.
So they're not us, but they have a part of us with them. I think it's very weighty. You could exchange, say, money or all of those, but this is weighty. Like, now it feels, I'm sure Japanese feel like they're in Japan. Like, at least there's a sense of...
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
that's why I say most of the descent, most of the people that would attend that festival will be more of the Japanese descent. And of course, people that want to learn about the culture.
We need to send some seeds. I don't know where. We need to send
should
some
decide
seeds.
what seed are we
No,
sending?
Nigeria has actually sent some seeds. I think palm oil seeds to Brazil. And that helps them to have a lot of palm oil the way we have, commercialize it. So they were able to commercialize our own culture.
I was thinking maybe we could pick one of those our draw soup seeds. Ewedu, carcass,
take it to the US.
But well, thank you so much, Sharon. That's quite
Beautiful.
an amazing festival you highlighted. All right, so now we're going to turn to the last part of our show. Very interesting, something that will give you wisdom, our wise saying. All right, so let's keep our eyes glued to the screen. Okay, so now, Bami the resource. We'll need you to do us the favor of reading this.
Okay. Person wey no get patience, no go get portion. Need patience for portion.
No patience or portion. Person wey no get patience, no go get portion. So what do you think this
Let me bring my personal bias. When I mentioned nation building the other time, nation building requires patience. So many people would rather opt for something fast, something quick, just be stable and be fine. But truth is, something quick will not get you on the Forbes list. And it's definitely not going to give you generational wealth. So if you want the portion of wealth, you got the patience. You got the patience.
Nice perspective. Sharon.
Okay. Well, person will not get patience, not go get portion. See, patience is literally everything. If you want something better, you have to be patient. Let's even talk about, for instance, personal building. Now you talked about nation building. Let me talk about personal building. You want to be something. You have to have that patience, the tenacity to wait, to see yourself grow and bloom in an era where you can actually be what you want to be. And that takes patience. If you do not have that patience, you can't have the portion of sitting with kings. You can't have the portion of, standing up and saying, this is who I am. Standing up to say, oh, I've built myself to this, to this level, and to even be able to influence other lives. So patience is key, really.
Key. Omokafe.
But what happens to when you just say you're being patient and you do not necessarily do anything while being patient? Some people just sit down and they're like, they said I should be patient, so I just sit down and I don't go out to get my daily bread. But while you're sitting down, what are you doing? While you are waiting, what are you engaging yourself in? So while we're encouraging people to have patience, to calm down and maybe think, you should also be actionable. You should be doing things that are relevant to that patience that you're in.
Very interesting take, I must say. Yeah, person where no get patience, no go get portion. As in point blank. If you're doing something, patience to me also involves, consistency.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing something and you're just patient, like Omokafe said, you're in point A, you're trying to get successful, you're trying to get to the top, but then you're here, seated here, and you're patient. Duh. So you need to get the right thing done, and then you need to be consistent. Because honestly, I don't think you can even be consistent if you are not patient.
Yeah.
And some time ago I saw, we all know this, only the patient dog eats the fattest bone. But what was the dog doing? Did the meat come to meet him?
No, of course not.
Well, thank you so much. That is all for today's show. It's been an amazing time. Thank you so much, Bami the Resource, for joining.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and this is where we draw the curtains on today's episode of Culture Cove. Like we all have said, person wey no get patience, no go get portion. Ensure you stay patient while trying to build the nation, while trying to advance all that it is we call culture. My name is Blessing again. Please enjoy the rest of your day.